Is online monitoring snooping or is it parenting? Adolescents desire online privacy, and parents often wonder how much digital privacy their children could be given. I'm sure, dear audience, you will definitely have difference in opinion about the issue. We will soon find out how our August gathering pose challenge to each other and debate on similar issue. BDM International has organized intra-class debate competition to observe Parents' Day celebrated on 26 July 2020. Parents, they nurture, care, teach, and serve as role model. This day is celebrated for their important role in our lives. We honor all parents who do everything to raise and protect their children. I, Shubhra Bhattacharya, on behalf of Senior Secondary English Department, take the honor and privilege to welcome our Honorable Principal, Ma'am Vijaya Chaudhary, Honorable Vice Principal, Ma'am Taposhi Mukherjee, Honorable Director of Education, Ma'am Ruma Basu, our respected panel of judges, Ma'am Molly Basu from English Department, Ma'am Shashwati Shur from Physics Department, Ma'am Debuduti Basu from English Department. Together, we welcome you, dear parents, to grace the occasion of Parents' Day. Now, before we open the house, I take the pleasure of inviting our respected principal ma'am to say a few words.
Good afternoon, children, panelists, and teachers,
Good
and
afternoon,
of
ma'am.
course, RB ma'am, Tapashi ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I really think the topic today is extremely a very, very interesting one, because actually that is where the parents and the children, they start having differences. Children are at this age, especially, they do not understand the reason why parents could do so. At the same time, parents from their end, they think that it is their duty to take care and see that children don't go in the wrong path. Well, I don't think I'll take much of your time. The topic itself is very interesting, and I'm eagerly waiting for each one of you to speak for and against the topic. Thank you. All the best to all the panelists, and welcome, my dear parents, for sparing some time to see how well your children are getting groomed for such debates. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your motivation and valuable points. With this, we open the motion of the House, that is, online monitoring is parenting, not snooping. I repeat it once again, online monitoring is parenting, not snooping. We have two teams comprising of 5 members in each team. Team proposition will be addressed as traditionalist and team opposition will be addressed as modernist. We welcome both the teams for open argumentation. I request Ma'am Molly Basu to explain the parameters of judgment to the debaters. Ma'am.
Thank you, Shubhra ma'am. I wish a very good afternoon to the August House. As the parameters have been set, let me reiterate the same for the debaters and also for the audience. Total marks allotted 50. For content, there will be 10 marks. Speakers for the motion will be speaking in affirmation. That is, online monitoring is parenting, not snooping. Similarly, speakers against the motion will be speaking in negation. Please avoid any kind of deviation. For expression, there will be 10 marks. It would include pronunciation. It should be a constructive speech. Please remember, children, debating is an art of intellectual honesty and dishonesty as well. For time management, there will be 10 marks. For argumentation, there will be 10 marks. We expect evidence, logic, and accurate facts. Please, all of you, remember, Ultimately, a debate is a battle of wits. There is a rebuttal round. There will be 10 marks for rebuttal. In the rebuttal round, there will be one question from audience, that is selected students, rebutting the student debater or the rebutting the selected debater. It will be followed in serial order. Each debater will justify his or her note of affirmation or negation. Audience, please remember, you can ask only fair, clear question that has a direct bearing on the debate. Thank you so much. Over to Shubhra ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Further, I request Swagata ma'am to explain the rules and regulations to the debaters.
Thank you, Shubhra ma'am. Good afternoon to the gathering here. Welcome one and all to the Interclass Debate Competition 2020. The participants all are of class 12. Motion of the day, online monitoring is parenting, not snooping. The following rules must be followed. Rule number 1, speaking time allotted for each speaker, children, please note, would be 3 minutes. The bell timing, the first short bell, which you have already heard, will be at 2 minutes 30 seconds. Thereafter, the long bell will continue at 3 minutes. That would be the final bell, which means you have to complete your speaking by that time. As told by Molly ma'am, the total marks allotted would be 50. All the students should be in their school uniform with the school ID. Maximum in the rebuttal round, there would be one question rebutting the selected debater from the selected student or audience for each speaker. Please make a note of it. It is a turn taking round. Each debater will answer the audience justifying his or her statement. Please note, maximum 1 minute time for each speaker in the rebuttal session. Thank you so much. Over to Shubhra ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, further, I request Upama Ganguly ma'am to intimate the debaters about the time by short bell after 2 minutes 30 seconds, followed by long bell at 3 minutes. Now, let us begin. We welcome our opening speaker from Traditionalist team, Aditya Gupta. Aditya Gupta is a student of 12 Science D. He is jovial, lively, and has a great sense of humor. Let us welcome Aditya.
Good afternoon, all. Honorable jury members, respected teachers, audience, and my opponents. I'm Aditya Gupta, and today I will speak for the topic that online monitoring is parenting and not snooping. Internet can rather be dangerous and scary place for everyone, but age groups like that of children and teens are the most susceptible. It can bring problems from cyberbullying to more serious internet damage, including exposure to child predators. That's why monitoring is important. My worthy opponents might think online monitoring as a tool that intrudes into their personal space, something that keeps them away from their friends, as to so-called their freedom, but in reality, it's just a body that keeps an eye on so that nothing bad happens to them, to make them feel someone is always with them and will help them no matter what. Social media, especially the ones that should be monitored. Evidence is mounting that there is a link between social media and depression. Quite an irony, right? A study from Child Institute conducted over 500,000 12th graders found a number exhibiting high levels of depressive symptoms increased by 33% and between 2010 to 2015. And the suicidal rate for girls increased by 65% in this age. We all know how depression can even end up killing people. It's not only the parents are justified in monitoring, but it's their moral obligation to do so. It's not only the parents, but time and again, games like Blue Whale have surfaced on the internet and have left us shivering and even haunts us till date. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for them who chose to play those games. I feel sorry for them to think that the only way they could live peacefully is to rather die. I feel sorry for the parents to make them go through all this and now the kids are no more. they can never return to their original lives. Still not convinced? In October, a mother turned in her son to the police because she found videos of school shootings on his phone, potentially averting a copycat crime, as showed an article published on Wired. Just think about it. It all could have been paused and it all could have been completely prevented. Only kids would have talked to their parents. Is this really a question whether to monitor kids? Rather, I think the real question is what are the things we should monitor? We haven't seen the world how our parents did. No matter how genius or smart you might be, you can never overshadow the sheer experience your parents have. After all, I know for the fact that only one person and only one person will help me and will be staying by my side, no matter what, till the very end. The other day, a meme was forwarded by my mother. It was about a famous person, Mark Zuckerberg. The meme stated, and I quote, Mark Zuckerberg is a person who had invested his whole time, but also the person who had made us waste our whole time. I raised my case, but not my stance.
Thank you, Aditya. Now, next speaker is from Modernist team. The first speaker from Modernist team, Anvita Boshak. She is a student of class 12 Science A. She is an impressive dancer and she loves reading books. We welcome Anvita.
A very good afternoon to everyone present in this August house. I'm Anvita Boshak of class 12 Science A speaking on the topic that online parenting is snooping and not parenting. Parents should never monitor their kids online, should never see their text, or should moreover they should never browse to the social media accounts. I firmly believe that parents should lead their children to be to look good citizens, and being a good and responsible digital citizen is also important. Moreover, moreover, the most important thing between parent and children is a trustworthy relationship. So, this kind of monitoring can make the children believe that their parents don't trust them and can make them. Narcissistic behavior of parents can ultimately backfire them. For example, most parents can have every social media account password and every email ID and anything, but if the children belonging to such um, group can feel the risk that their parents will know what they're doing, they can lead to more troubles. Like they can make another social media account and post things there. The goal of parenting is to create a healthy and sufficient adult, but a parent's desire to monitor their kids online have more to do with the burning desire to stop the anxiety. Without being judgmental, parents should talk to the words. And moreover, the goal of what is the main goal of parents that they want to save their children from every possible problem. For that, online monitoring is not important. For that, you need to be open to your children, be friendly enough so that they feel that they can talk to you and turn up to you whenever they need. Instead of hiding the suspicious behavior, if they're in trouble, they will talk to you. They will talk to the parents when necessary. And that's what I believe. And I think most teenagers believe it's not only about freedom, it's not only about intervening in something, but definitely, parents and children should share a trustworthy relationship. And this is the summing up of the point. That is, parents should help their children to be responsible digital citizens. Second, parents and children should share a trustworthy relationship so that they can turn up to their parents whenever they're in trouble. Moreover, children, a third point may be the children may be afraid sometimes to open up because they have committed some mistake. So to support them, you need to support your children whenever necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Anvita. Our second speaker from traditional team is Anushka Banerjee of 12 Arts. Anushka adores writing, public speaking, and debating. Let us welcome Anushka Banerjee. Anushka Banerjee.
Yes, ma'am, I'm starting.
Yeah.
When a person becomes highly successful, his parents are the first ones to get the credit. Likewise, when a child ends up in a pathetic situation, his parents are the first ones to be blamed. A very good afternoon to the respected panel of judges, respected in charge ma'am, principal ma'am, and everyone else present here. This is Anushka Banerjee present before you to speak for the motion that online monitoring is parenting and not snooping. Parenting involves overall development of a child, which includes each and every sphere of his or her life. If a parent takes care of a child's extracurricular activities, nutrition, education, then why not a child's online activities? These days, internet has very much become a part of a child's life. Children often spend hours on the internet exposing themselves to various risks like fraudulent activities, bullying, trolling, harassment. So how is this problem to be solved? I am going to share with you the case of a teen, Hannah Smith. Sadly enough, this girl committed suicide and her body was found in her bedroom. The next day, when Hannah's father checked her phone, he found that Hannah had been on a website on which there were comments insulting her and even instigating her towards suicide and self-harm. Now, doesn't this come across your mind that if Mr. Smith would have checked Hannah's phone beforehand, she could have been saved? He could have reported the comments or at least guided Hannah, which evidently Hannah herself couldn't. If kids would have been so mature to handle online bullying and online trolling, then these cases would not have been happening in the first place. If educating the children about the ill effects of the internet is enough to keep them safe, then I would say today the majority of the kids are aware of the ill effects of the internet. Yet, why 59% of the children are facing harassment in the United States? Many a times, children fall under wrong company and become bullies themselves. Now, who is supposed to see that whether the child is being victimized or is victimizing others? Of course, it's the guardians, our parents, who need to step in and monitor their children online, which is very much their right and responsibility. Calling the act of online monitoring as snooping is extremely insensitive and negligent act. I believe it's time for everyone to accept online monitoring as a positive approach of parenting. Here I rest my case, but not my stance, that online monitoring is parenting, not snooping. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anushka. Our second speaker from Modernist team now, she is Shakshi Paul of 12 FMM, that is student of Financial Marketing Management. She is a finance student, passionate about playing Western classical music in violin. Let us welcome Shakshi Paul of 12 FMM.
A very good morning to the jury, audience, and my worthy opponents. Today, I, Sakshi Paul of Class 12 FMM, take this opportunity to stand against the motion that online monitoring is parenting and not snooping. Nowadays, technology is developing fast, and with the pandemic situation on top, everything has transferred online. So, as a result, many parents are worried that their kids might take unfair advantages of the facilities they are being provided out of necessity and maybe even victims of cybercrime. I know why the parents want to do this because they see the internet has its dark places and they might trust their kids but not the strangers on the internet. So as a result, they start to online monitor their kids, which even though they consider as parenting, might be easily taken by the adults and kids as snooping. But are the parents really building a lifelong relationship of trust by between their kids and themselves by cyber spying on them? Are they actually helping their kids making life decisions by electronically hovering over them? No amount of spying is going to make the kids safe. Uh, and it can even lead to a host of unwanted consequences like distrust between the parent and the kid. The kid might start to hide things from the parents even though they know that is harmful for them. I firmly believe this is the responsibility of a parent to take the guidance that they should teach their kids how to be good digital citizens, just like it is a responsibility to teach them how to behave properly offline. A kid should know how to maintain their online presence, what to say, what not to say. Imagine if someone created an app that allowed parents to check every conversation, every phone call the kid is having. Wouldn't that be easy for the parents to look after their kids? That way means after all they can save their kids because they will know every step that kid is taking. But no, it won't, because the kids aren't puppets and the parents aren't the puppeteers. They won't be able to control all the steps their kids is taking. And we know nowadays that the kids are more tech savvy than their parents, and if they're really motivated, they will find a way to hide their online activities. So I want to convey the parents that they should not rely on any solution just to protect their kids. Instead, they should make a healthy, honest, and trusting relationship with their kids, which will lead the kids to them when they really face inappropriate online problems. Isn't it what is expected from them in the offline life? So why not in the online life? I would lastly I would like ask my opponents whether they will be really okay if their parents went through their text messages, conversations, emails. Won't they be a little bit annoyed also? Will this say, yeah, you can't do it because they are doing for my good? Thank you. I rest my case, but not my stance.
Thank you, Shakshi. Next, our third speaker from Traditionalist team, Aprumit Ray of 12 FMM. His fondness of public speaking is not hidden to anyone in school. Aprumit Ray.
Good afternoon to my respected jury and my worthy opposition. Today, I am going to speak for the motion. As per a report by UNICEF, 1 out of every 3 children in India face cyberbullying. Another report states that 4 out of every 10 children has internet addiction disorder starting from the tender age of 8, making 420 million people vulnerable to this disorder. At this time of rapid digitalization, I feel a mobile phone or a PC is one of the most beloved and at times essential commodity for the child. But should a 12 to 13-year-old live all alone with their mobile phone and the dark world of web all by their own? Should they be allowed to search anything of their free will, upload anything they want? Absolutely not. Because we cannot undermine the increasing cyber threats in today's current world. Here comes the important role of a parent. A good parenting comes here, where a parent can monitor and guide a child to avoid all the inappropriate content on the internet, which can save themselves, their child, from any further abuse. Like this, cyberbullying has taken many lives in recent terms. So, if a parent can monitor things, things will obviously better. On that note, what is Blue Whale Challenge? The suicide challenge? I think we all know that it took many lives of children in the past few years, and still my opponents think that parents should not monitor what their children are going through. On that note, I want to give an example where online parenting came into great help. There's an app called ZinSpice. This app is mainly used by parents just to check what their students or their children are going through in the internet, especially in this time. And the report has shown that it has helped thousands of parents to give their children a better life, a better and secure, healthier internet life. I think that is what is called good parenting, and that is what is called monitoring. I think this is not only for individual interest, it has to play an important role in the society at large in building up the nation's future citizens. I just want to say, when security and life is in concern, in comparison to your so-called privacy, I think security should be always given first concern. And I think that is what is the model of good parenting and not at all snooping. Thank you.
Thank you, Aprumit. Next, our third speaker from Modernist team, Our third speaker from Modernist team is Shanghamitra Shaha of 12 Science B. Shanghamitra takes a lot of interest in cooking, acting, and public speaking. So now let us welcome Shanghamitra. Shanghamitra.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one and all present in this August house. This is Shanghamitra Shaha of 12 Science B, and today I'm going to speak against the motion. This house believes that online monitoring is parenting. Dictionary defines snooping as an act of invading into someone's privacy without their knowledge. Spying is a clear indication of lack of communication between parents and their children. Now, parents, I have one question to you. Would you like someone to spy on you, to track all your online activities, track your location? No, right? Then why do the same with your children? Because they're small, because they're innocent, or because they're technologically not that advanced? As of the children, snooping can really break their trust on parents, and it can create a permanent emotional gap. So snooping should not be done. I do agree with all my opponents, what they said. They feel that all the parents are afraid that their children are vulnerable to online crimes, susceptible to exposed to vulgar content. But tell me one thing: is it really possible for a parent to monitor his or her child's online activities 24/7? No, right? Or so what do you think? Peeping into your child's mobile phone the whole day is going to help? No, it's not going to help. Instead, parents should take initiative and take initiative to make their children a better digital citizen, a sensible, a responsible, and a good one. Now, I feel that parenting and snooping, these two terms are like oxymoron, and they cannot go together. Because if proper parenting is done, snooping is not at all required. What is important is the inculcation of proper family values. Parents need to talk to their children regarding what they should do and what they should not do. Statistics show that between the year 2016 to 2018, some 10,000 students committed suicide every year in India. And one of the primary reasons behind this is a growing gap between the parents and the children. So on this occasion of International Parents' Day, I would request all the parents present over here to create a space between you and your child, where your child can freely come up and talk with you. Spend quality time with him or her. Let him talk. Let her talk. Listen to them. Counsel them. Let your values guide them. Become a co-viewer and not a snooper. Let your values guide them. I repeat, and not your spy camera. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanghamitra. Our next speaker, that is fourth speaker from traditional team, is Shuryanshu Narayan Boshak from 12 FMM. Shuryanshu loves reading books, singing, and has high interest in economics. So let us welcome Shuryanshu.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I would like to convey my regards to all the parents present here, to all my teachers and everyone present in this August house. Firstly, I'd like to point that a child is like a missile or rocket, full of energy, which, without a proper sense of direction of the energy within itself, always leads to destruction and mayhem. And as in the contemporary scenario, most of the energy of the child is invested online, therefore comes the urgent need of online monitoring. A child should understand the intrinsic value of parenting, which is not at all snooping. A child's brain is not fully developed, but is in a developing state. So it tends to take fast decisions, like clicking some link without thinking at all through the consequences, and ending up and lacking maturity and ending up in risk, which can always be countered through proper support and guidance by the parents. Our data reveals that children from the age bar of 12 to 18 are the most susceptible to cybercrime. My worthy opponents are speaking of privacy, but don't you think that a relationship between a parent and a child should comprise of principles of transparency, trust, and accountability? a parent, as being a patron of a child, can always ensure what his or her child does. And privacy, in my opinion, enjoyed by the children should always be proportional to the trustworthiness, the level of maturity, and the responsibility sense the child showcases. And in this context of privacy, most of the privacy enjoyed by the children are misused by them, which can always lead them to the wrong path, and at worst, the path of crime. As per statistics, cybercrime on children are increasing at a rate of 40%. Cyber delinquency by children are increasing at a massive rate. And 80% of children are visiting the dark web, and India ranks fourth in whole over the world for cybercrimes taking place. So do you think that your children are safe online on their own? Therefore comes the urgent need of online monitoring, which is not at all snooping, but is a sense of inculcating a sense of concern towards your child. And in this regard, I would like to say that this is not at all snooping, so as to nurture them into the best version of themselves and make them mentally healthy, which is the most important perspective in today's life. All in all, I am on the traditionalist take on this topic and would like to conclude by embossing that online monitoring is not at all snooping, but is a sense of love and concern towards your ward. And this is to bring the best of the youth available to the country, for the upliftment of the economy, the society, the country, and the world at large. And as on the occasion of Parents' Day, I would like to end my debate with a quote that goes on like this: that bad parenting brings heartaches, but a good parenting brings headaches. Thank you.
Thank you, Shuryanshu. I'm sure this open, argumentative challenge posed by both traditionalist and modernist team is highly interesting for all of us. Now, our next speaker, our fourth speaker from modernist team is Shorali Patnaik of 12 Science D. Shorali is highly enthusiastic, fearless, and bold, and her zest and zeal is known to everyone. We welcome Shorali.
Good afternoon, respected teachers, principal ma'am, director of education ma'am, honorable jury members, and my dear friends and worthy opponents. I hope all of you are safe and healthy. In view of COVID-19 pandemic, this year as social distancing and stay-at-home orders are extended throughout the country, we have been spending a lot of time in our mobile phones, and there lies the problem. The problem of every Indian parent who thinks mobile phone is a curse in the life of their children. And then comes the tendency to snoop on that cursed device to know what on the earth has kept them so busy with it. Now, technology has made it easier for parents to snoop on their children. Now, I want to start off saying some statistical data. That is, a study found 61% of parents check their teen web history, 60% monitor their social media use, and 48% have looked at child's phone calls and messages. Now, being an Indian and on top of that being a Bengali, it is really difficult to have a privacy where staring at your phone and smiling means you're talking to someone special, which of course is not true every time. Like, why? Why would you judge us before knowing the real fact? Like, why? Moreover, as a child gets older, she needs more privacy and more personal and psychological space. This is because the child is dealing with big teenage challenges, gaining new physical and thinking skills, and developing social interests. Part of becoming grown up is learning how to handle these challenges with responsibility. Now, as my dear opponent Aditya mentioned, that children tend to fall into the prey of cyberbullying and other cyber crimes. Well, that's true in a way, but I firmly believe that children need to learn how to manage their own online presence, what to say, what to share, what to upload, and what to not. Also, as Anushka mentioned, that internet does not have a delete key. You need to mark your own presence on earth by yourself. Your individuality, originality, and spontaneity matters when you enter a corporate world. After all, the world is becoming a more technology dependent, and we need to cope up with the world itself. Now, let me tell you, the reality is most kids know a lot more of technology than their parents. And as Sakshi mentioned, that no amount of spying would make them safer. In fact, it can lead to a host of unwanted consequences like building a mutual distrust between the parent and the child. It can be also seen as an invasion of privacy, which most teenagers won't want their parents to do. Now, I want to ask a question to my opponent, that is, instead of parents spying on us online, why not teach us how to be good digital citizens? Why not talking to us on a daily basis instead of snooping into our phone every time? Talk to us, please do. We are growing up and we need to learn how to fight by ourselves. Of course, we need our parents as a guide, but we won't like if they don't let us be ourselves. Don't you think so? Rest, I'll leave it to you all to decide. Thank you.
Thank you, Shorali. Now, our final speaker from Traditionalist team is Tiasha Paul. Tiasha, she reads in class 12 Science B and she loves public speaking and debating. Let us welcome Tiasha.
A very good afternoon to our principal ma'am, vice principal ma'am, in charge ma'am, respected moderator ma'am, and the jury members and my fellow and worthy opponents present here. This is Tiasha Paul from 12 Science B speaking for the motion. Yes, I firmly believe that online monitoring is parenting and not at all snooping. Without monitoring, even a good thing can turn worse, like you compare with the cell division in our body, which is an important event, but uncontrolled or unmonitored rate of cell division can lead to the growth of tumor or the cancer developing, which we all know. Similarly, the students using the social media platform without their parents monitoring may get attracted to certain things which can deter themselves from their studies, or even maybe worse, from their family. Maybe social media or online platforms give various opportunities to everyone, but with the increased rate of cyberbullying, identity theft, and online predators, it is quite understandable that the parents would always like to know what their child's status is, what they're doing on the social media, whom they're talking to through chats, video calls, etc., whom they're meeting, at least till the age when they're becoming adults. It may be their right to check that fact, but I think it's necessary because of their child's safety, security, and safeguard of their identity. Now, especially at the age of the teens, they become more susceptible to certain things like drug addiction, including crimes and illegal activities, and even maybe committing suicides, which we saw like a few days back in the game called the Blue Whale, where a large number of teenagers were in the hands of suicides. And even they get attracted to certain filthy or obscene pictures or videos which make call hazards to themselves. And every now and then we get the news of cyberbullying or the threats with the kids, and especially the women or the girls are being harassed, causing their mental distress and leading to their physical breakdown, also affecting their future. Now, it is found that more than 50% of the teens get cyberbullied, and 7 in 10 young people experiences it even before the age of 18. Even especially they unknowingly or unintentionally share much and reveal about themselves, which can cause hazards in their real life as well. So I think the parents who are their actually are their well-wishers should always monitor on them because of their safety. They should also restrict the use of mobile phones and should check the website where their kids are visiting. At the same time, they should not hurt the emotions of the kids, and this can be achieved by regular interactions between the kids and the parents. And I think the kids should gladly accept it as their parents' responsibility of monitoring and not a snooping. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiasha. Now, our final speaker from Modernist team. He is Shourabh Sarkar of 12 Science B. Shourabh has strong interest in computer hardware and its function. He dreams of creating an efficient machine. So let us welcome Shourabh Sarkar.
Thank you, ma'am. And good afternoon to respective principal ma'am, in charge ma'am, and jury members and moderator ma'am, and all my worthy opponents present here. So online monitoring is parenting and not snooping. This is my topic that I'm going to speak about, and I'm going to talk about against the motion. First off, I like to define terms. What is snooping? So in layman's terms, snooping is spying on someone's personal information without their appeal. And now what is parenting? Parenting is development of someone's emotional, parenting is promoting someone's emotional and physical development of someone's child. Now I'm going to refer you all to a research which was done, or a study which was performed by Carnegie Mellon University and Institute of Software Research. It was basically a collaboration, which stated that teens, among the huge number of teens which were interviewed, 90% of them said that they felt strongly that phones were private devices and that parents should have no access to it. Many teens expressed annoyance from of their parents for constantly searching their phone, which according to them they thought resulted from a lack of trust. Now, from an article published in American Psychological Association, uh, it said that online parental control, negatively affects children's sense of autonomy, identity, and competence, which according to them, which according to the another journal, which is known as Journal of Psychological Development and Education, said that this may lead to children's excessive use of internet as a dysfunctional way of satisfying their own psychological needs. So in a way, parental control leads to internet addiction in layman's terms again. But in adolescence, it has also been seen that by doing this, parents often force a hierarchical structure, which without considering the actual feelings of their own children. Now I like to also say that this may actually lead to feelings of stress, tension, negative emotions, resentment that can damage relational connectedness between the parent and the children. Thus, I would like to ask the audience and the judges and my fellow opponents, how can something which damages the very emotional well-being of child be considered parenting? Or something that breaks a bond of trust between the parent and the children, be anyways considered parenting? Thank you.
Thank you, Shora. So this is the end of our first round of debating, and we have seen how both the teams have tried hard to convince the audience with their wonderful opinion, their views, and really intrigued us, isn't it? So now, with this, we end the first round, and now the most awaited and impressive round, that is rebuttal round. So let us proceed towards rebuttal round. So before we begin the round, let me tell you a few things about this round. Debaters, please listen to me carefully. Though Swagata ma'am has already enlightened you about the rules and regulations, but still I'll tell you a few things before we begin. Each speaker will be asked a question by the student audience, and each debater will answer the audience justifying his or her statement. Then speakers will be allotted maximum 1 minute, not more than that. And we will follow the same order of participation as we have followed in the previous round. Okay, so let us begin. Upama Ganguly ma'am, you are requested to intimate the debaters about the time, and the time limit for the rebuttal round is 1 minute.
At 1 minute, the long bell will sound. Okay. And Shubhra ma'am, one more thing I would like to point out: the debaters, they need to keep their videos on. I can see some of them have kept their videos off, but throughout the program, they are supposed to keep their videos on. Am I right, ma'am? Shubhra
Yes,
ma'am?
ma'am. Yes, definitely. Debaters, please see that your video mode is on. And student audience, when you are asking question, see that your video mode is also on. Thank you. Now, the rebuttal round. First, I welcome our student audience to question the debaters. First of all, I'll invite our student audience, Indrayani Gond of 12 Science D, to ask a question to our speaker, Aditya Gupta from Traditionalist team.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon, respected teachers and my fellow mates. So I would like to ask a question to Aditya Gupta. You mentioned that some kids were some were arrested by the police. So, but that doesn't mean that everyone will turn out like them, as they were doing illegal things. So, what is your point of view?
I know most of us aren't turned to have any bad influence. Still, if showing your phone or WhatsApp to your parents once in a month can provide and prevent a potential disaster from having, then why not? Obviously, what to show it to your parents? What is really important? Goofing around with your phone and hiding your WhatsApp status or whatever, and to maintain a so-called privacy, or just to be a little more cautious and showing things to your parents. Mistakes and habits that we think it is. We can't make any mistakes. After all, the phones are given by our parents. If they want, they can easily take it away from us. It's because they have respect towards us. That's why they ask for our consent before showing and asking and taking it away from us.
Is
I
that
think
all, Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Indraini, for asking the question. Second, I'll request our student audience, Ronjini Chattopadhyay from 12 Arts, to ask a question to our speaker, Anvita Boshak from Modernist team.
Good afternoon. My question to Anvita would be, I would like to begin by drawing an analogy. We all grow up speaking our mother tongue, right? Most of us do. Yet we still opt to include it in our formal education when we go to school. Why do we do so? I would say that we do it so that we can get better guidance on how to use it for effective communication to our betterment. Similarly, even though we grow up using the internet and we often ridicule our parents for not being as well versed with technology as us, why can we not require guidance in using the internet we have practically grown up with? And before I'm told that this guidance may not take the face of online monitoring, it can also be imparted through verbal warnings or discussion. I would like to say that we all know how adventurous we teenagers are, and I guess we all have a lot of first-hand experiences of what happens when we make a mistake and when we learn from a mistake. Learning from our mistakes is fine, but what kinds of mistake? At what expense? At what cost? If these mistakes cost us our life, if these mistakes cost us our mental health, are they really worth taking the risk? Why would we not rely on our parents to guide us back on track if we go astray?
Thank
Okay,
you.
so the point is that some mistakes might cost our life, but every mistake before that, I hope we get some points and we get some and for that means children they should always initially tell their parents if they're facing any problem, and if parents are always behind the children saying that you are doing something wrong, and even if they're not doing wrong being judgmental, this will normally create a gap and this will be hard to bridge. So the children, when they are in trouble, they will think that if I go and tell my parent about this, they may find me and to be the wrongdoer, and so they don't go. And any kind of mistake that puts a threat to our life does not come in one day, and we definitely get some notion that, that it might
Yes.
come and yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Anvita. Now I request the student audience to ask brief and short question so that the debaters they could understand easily. It is my request to all of you. Please make the question brief and short. Next, I would like to request our student audience, Piyu Pandit of 12 Humanities A, to ask a question to our speaker, Anushka Banerjee from Traditionalist team.
Good afternoon. This is Piyu Pandit from 12 Science A, and I would like to ask Anushka that as she said that parenting is required for every teenagers. So don't you think that this is not snooping? Means why do you think that this is not snooping?
Yes, Anushka.
Yes. So, like I mentioned before, when parents are taking care of your education, of your extracurricular activities, of your nutrition, of your early waking up in the morning, of your going to bed in the night, then why not online monitoring? What's so special in online monitoring? And especially when you make mistakes in online monitoring. It's risky when you are in the internet. When parents need to take care, even small things like you waking up in the morning and getting ready for class, then why not you in the internet, which is far more riskier? Parents take care of everything literally. So why not online monitoring as well? Why there comes the problem, which is a risky act and which specially needs guidance? I hope you get my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. Next, I welcome our student audience, Shankhunil Patro of 12 FMM, to ask a question to a speaker from Modernist team, Shakshi Paul. Shankhunil to Shakshi Paul.
Good afternoon, one and all. Sakshi, I would like to ask you that. Yes, Sakshi, I would like to ask you that if you understand why the parents want to online monitor their children, then why are you against the motion?
Thank you, Shankunil, for the question. As I said earlier, that I understand parents won't have the intuition to monitor their kids online due to the dark places. But what if the kid finds it's invading of privacy, and they start to rebel against it? And even there are many cases that when the parents have tried like strong forces to control their kids, it has led to depression, and which can be fatal in cases. So that is my point. I hope you can understand it.
Thank you, both of you. Next student audience is Roopjit Banerjee of 12 Humanities A. Roopjit is requested to ask a question to Apromit of 12 FMM from Traditionalist team.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my question is for Amit. In 2017, Supreme Court of India passed a judgment saying that right to privacy is a fundamental right under the Indian Constitution. So a parent using a spying app to spy on his or her child without the knowledge of the child, isn't that violate the right to privacy or the fundamental right of a constitution?
Apromit.
Yes, a good question though. I'd like to say yes. Supreme Court passed a bill, passed a law, stating right to privacy. But I would like to say when a parent can monitor their child and do a betterment for the child, I think that's better than actually hiding things. That's actually not privacy. Like I should tell that parent and child relationship should not have something privacy. Privacy is a distant space, but I think student and parents should have enough transparency amongst them to share things. And I think that over here, when the parents can use the tool to make a better future of the future citizens, future leaders of India who will lead the country, then it will be obviously better. And when the question has come that whether right to privacy, I will say when the students are not interrogated properly or asked properly, or even if they're asked, only 1 out of 10 people say they are being cyberbullied. Thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Next, I request our student audience, Kritika of 12 Science, to raise a question to Shangomitra Shaha of 12 Science B from Modernist team. Kritika to Shangomitra.
Good afternoon, everyone present in this house. I am Kritika Bhattacharya of 12 Science B. Well, Shangomitra, in your speech, you stated that the parents should teach their children how to become good digital citizens. But in the real world, as parents have to watch over their children to see what they are doing in order to teach them to become good individuals and good citizens. Similarly, don't you think that the online
what they are doing online is also what the parents need to see in order to teach them to become good digital citizens. So what do you have to say about this?
Okay, so firstly, thank you, Kritika, for such a question. See, what I feel is privacy and monitoring. These two terms are slightly different. You can monitor your child, even not even like you can monitor your child, not affecting his or her privacy. We all have our private space, not be it online, be it offline. So if you really want to monitor your child should know that you are monitoring. It should see snooping. The meaning of snooping is secretly spying. So I'm against secretly spying, and I'm not against monitoring. Parents do have the right; they possess right to monitor to see what we are doing, but that should be with my knowledge. They can't do it secretly, right? So if, suppose you maintain a diary and you have your cupboard and your parents come and they do just like they mess and they search through everything. Would you like it? No, right? Because that's harming your privacy. So of course you can teach your child, maybe by monitoring, may not be by monitoring, but don't go harm their privacy. We all have our private space. Do not harm that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, both of you. Next, we have our student audience, Shriya Manda of 12 FMM. She will ask a question to our traditionalist speaker, Shuryanshu Narayan Bosha from 12 FMM.
Good afternoon, everyone
Shriya
present
Manda
here.
to Shuryanshu.
Yes, ma'am. I am Shinamanda from 12 FMM. So, Suryanshu Narayan Biswas, I have your speech noted with me. One of your lines said that, excuse me, just a minute, I'll quote it. So that they can be nurtured to the best versions of themselves, making them mentally healthy, which is the most important perspective of an individual. And my second point is that you have rarely mentioned any values, cultures, or guidance. So, how do you think that snooping, spying, going through conversations, or going through emails or social media apps will nurture them and not teaching them like values, basic human values, and not teaching them that you can open up to us because we are your parents and we want what's best for you?
Thank you so much for the question. First point you made about the mental health thing. So for that, I would like to state that the cyber crime and the sphere of cyber crime is great, and it affects the child in every matter. If one individual is threatened and scammed, and then he has to confront his parents, that will bring a great deal of mental damage to the child. So if by online monitoring this can be countered, so why not? And second, you told that how can children be nurtured by online monitoring? To this, I want to state that when a children is facing this, he is learning. You will say that he is learning from his or her mistakes. And I would like to say that why not mean the thing that we are getting handy in our hand from our parents? Why to experiment for that? Why to bring our hand in the fire to test that if it burns? Thank you. I hope you get my point.
Thank you, both of you. Now, our next student audience is Ankun Dalal of 12 Science E, and he is requested to ask a question to Shourali Patnaik of Modernist team. Ankun to Shourali
Good
Patnaik.
afternoon to all. So my question is to Shorali Patnaik that during this pandemic, mobile phones have become the topmost necessity, and hence parents are providing their children with their private phones. But don't you think at this stage they might entangle themselves with the negative aspects of the online world?
Well, thank you for the question, but I believe that there should be a direct link between the amount of responsibility, consistency, honesty, and mutual understanding. 4 points, right? Spying doesn't foster individuation and independence. I think from parents' point of view, they want to raise a young adult who can make independent decisions and who can have a life of their own. And thus, constant spying won't help. So, before handing over the device, parents should talk about responsibility, accountability, and obligations. Parents does have an active role to play, and today's teenagers should be more responsible and aware of the consequences of the online world. Thank you.
Thank you, Shorali and Ankon. Now, our next student audience is Meghna from 12 Science, and I request Meghna to ask a question to Tiasha Paul of the Traditionalist team. Meghna to Tiasha.
Meghna, she's speaking, but her mic
Good
is
morning.
mute, I think.
My
Meghna,
question,
please unmute your microphone.
ma'am, I've unmuted.
Okay, yeah. Now you can ask a question to Tiasha Paul of Traditionalist team.
All teachers and my fellow.
Raise your
Um,
voice, please, Meghna.
my question to Tiasha is that, as she said that parenting is very important through online modes. So, if the parents get involved in their child's issues and matters regularly, is it not going to reduce their child's capacity to
Maybe Meghna's question is not very clear to Tiasha. Tiasha, could you follow the question? Or shall we ask her to repeat it once again?
Ma'am, the last part.
Yeah, Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
can you please repeat the question? Make it brief.
Yes. Okay. If parents get involved in their child's matters and issues, is it not going to affect their child and reduce their capability to solve their problems on their own?
Okay, so you say that it's going to reduce their capacity to solve their problems on their own, but I think they are the child. They are child and not an adult. But they will need the help of their parents to solve their problems. Actually, the parents have passed more years of experience than their child, and they start to know their child even before they actually start to know themselves. And I think it's necessary to monitor them, as at this age bad things actually provoke themselves much. So thank you.
Thank you, Tiasha and Meghna. Now, our final student audience, I'll ask Sanchit of 12 Science B to ask a question to the member of Modernist team, Saurabh Sarkar. Sanchit to Saurabh Sarkar.
I'm asking a question to Saurav Sarkar, Modernist team. Now, as you mentioned, that parental control negatively impacts on child psychology and affects the sense of his or her autonomy, identity, and competence. But it is also true that it is the parental control that gives the child an ultimate support and motivation. And for example, if any child is sent abroad for various issues like education, and it is if he or she wants to take any decision or any justifiable step, then parents' consultations are very welcome by the children, as it helps as there are various systems now developed which helps the parents to keep an eye on the children. So what is your viewpoint on in this context?
Um, First off, Sanchit, I'd like to say that there has been some confusion between parental monitoring and parental guidance, because those two are different words, first of all, and those two are totally different things. Parental monitoring is a parent continuously monitoring your everyday life, your everyday activities from your phone. And parental guidance is simply just a child calling up his parent and saying him that father or mother, I'm getting ragged, I'm getting bullied, I need some help from you. What should I do? Or I'm having some issues in school. What should I do? So let me ask the audience, and also let me ask everybody here present here, that isn't the latter better if the parent has total if the parent and the student has total transparent, parent and the children has total transparency between themselves, and also instead of the parent trying to force their way into their social life by getting into their social media accounts, I feel that it's way better if the child himself comes up to his parents and talks to.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. With this, we come to the end of the rebuttal round. And all will agree that indeed both the traditionalist and modernist team, they acclaim high adulation for their admirable open exchanges. Now, I request our honorable judges to state their remark about the debaters. Our honorable judges.
I think we should
Molly ma'am,
I think
Shashwati ma'am,
Debodhuti ma'am will be. Should I say
and
something? Should I say?
Debodhuti ma'am. Yeah, if
Actually,
you
I
want
was
to.
waiting for Shashwati ma'am if she can have some remarks and comments because I'm supposed to talk about the much awaited part of this event. That's the result part.
Yes.
That's why
Yeah.
over to Shashwati ma'am. If as a judge you have ma'am something to share with us or the debaters.
Thank you, Devadati ma'am. Actually, this was a very confused topic for me because I was experiencing this thing for quite a number of days with my son. And today, I think I have come to a solution finally to what or how I should be proceeding now onwards. I have collected some points. I've collected. I have agreed to the thing that I should definitely give him space. I must not snoop. Snooping is not correct, absolutely, because I cannot, whatever I do, I cannot, I'm not smart enough that to overcome all the handicapness I have got technologically. He is much more smarter than me. So whatever I do, I am not at all. I will not be able to snoop around. So what I will be doing is taking his consent, trying to partly guide him whenever it is required. I will not interfere unnecessarily. And as he always tells me, whenever I tell him that grow up, and he tells me, turns and tells me, you allow me to grow up. So that I definitely allow him to grow up. That's very true. This I've collected. And thank you all for that only, that I have finally come to this decision. And what I will say, I liked Aditya speaking so much about good parenting. But Aditya, if your parents, I mean, interfere in all your activities, you will like it. So many things you have said that it is very good, it is very good. But I personally don't think that any of you like us snooping around without taking formal consent. Anyway, the best part of it is I really, after such stretched out time, found myself to be in school. The feeling was that I am in school and I am attending this session, and it was really thrilling experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashwati ma'am, for your honest and humorous remarks. We all enjoyed your remarks, and definitely so we can guess that we are coming to some conclusion. Definitely our audience, they are intrigued and they are trying to find out solution of what could be done. So the question is definitely raised in everyone's mind. Okay. Next I'll request Debudati ma'am to express about the result.
Yeah, thank you, moderator ma'am. I, on behalf of the panel of judges, would like to congratulate each one of you debaters. It was a wonderful experience for all of us, and you were really commendable in your effort. I'd also like to acknowledge that it is really an opportunity offered by BDM International School to actually nurture our communication skills, because skill development needs time. And as we all know, without effective communication, education becomes purposeless. Happy Parents Day to all of you parents, those who have taken your precious time and you have been constantly motivating the debaters. On behalf of all of us, I'd like to express our heartfelt thanks and gratitude for being a part of this session. Now, it is the much awaited part, result. Yes, result you will not come to know today. We will be declaring it officially on the FB page. You have to wait a little bit for that. Shortly, the result will be announced on the official FB page of your school, BDM International. And all the participants will receive e-certificates. We would mail them, the e-certificates to the participants. So, till then, stay safe, stay connected. Thank you, Shubhra ma'am.
Thank you, Debodati ma'am. Before concluding the program, I take the honor to invite our respected Director of Education, Ma'am Ruma Basu, to express vote of thanks. Ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, students. It was very nice seeing you, hearing you speak on the topic. You have so much of talent that you have fought this war of words so very effectively. You've really made all of us very proud, and likewise your parents, in whose honor this inter-school debate, inter-class, sorry, debate competition was organized. And parents, I take this opportunity to thank you also for being a part of this program and making it even more beautiful. We know that love and care and pains that you take up to grow up your child, and possibly that's the satisfaction of being a parent. They are at a tender age now. They need love, care, monitoring to inculcate values, which is most important in life, and we want all of them to grow up with it. Thank you once again, and I thank all of you for being so very excellent and showcasing your talents so very beautifully. I belong to the old school of thought. So whatever you say, I will still say that if your parents are monitoring you, please accept that. Shashwati ma'am is saying, no, she's accordingly going to guide her child. But I little belong to the old school of thought. So uh, build up a good rapport with your parents, and you will see that they will not interfere into any of your personal matters. They will rather guide you and see that you are in the right track, which is very, very important. We want all of you to be very happy along with your parents and to be very successful human beings. Thank you very much, and thank you, teachers, for organizing such a lovely debate and so very pertinent to the age and so very pertinent to the occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your
Thank you, ma'am.
constant
Thank you,
encouragement.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So our debate continues.
Yes.
Thank